My name is Kelly. I am owner of K Collections Photography in Patchogue, New York, where I have a strong emphasis on women's empowerment and tapping into what that means for you. We are here live on episode number 2 of Split Happens, where we talk all things divorce.
Relationships, divorce, all things, everything.
And I am joined by Miss
Donna.
and
Donna Ray.
I love it. You just did a little bit of a branding change. Okay,
I did.
Tell us about it.
Sure. So I am originally was known as Donna Rudowitz. I'm now Donna Ray Love.
I like it.
And I'm a licensed clinical social worker as well as a rapid relationship transformational coach. And my whole goal is helping women find love again after divorce.
I love it. It's got like Dr. Ruth vibes. Do you remember her?
Yes. I met her in the Hamptons once.
did?
Yeah.
So I love Dr. Ruth, by the way.
I love Loveline. Was she on Loveline with Dr. Adam too back in the day?
No, I don't know. I
Okay.
don't know. She may have been, but
Okay.
she was like, she's a force to be reckoned with. And so
is
thank
she
you.
still going? Does anybody know?
I think she passed away.
Oh, she
I'm
did?
pretty sure she
Yeah.
passed away.
Okay.
Yeah.
But she was like a pioneer of the times,
She
right?
was.
Talking about things that nobody else wanted to talk about.
Sex and intimacy.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm very passionate and feel very fortunate to be sitting at the table with the both of you who are complete powerhouses. I don't feel there's enough people, especially on Long Island, offering the support and talking about the realness of divorce, which unfortunately is, I don't want to say trending. I don't think that's the right word, but there's a lot of people going through it right now.
And I also think we're in a little bit of a crisis because it's not only divorce, but now you have a whole generation of families who have seen young kids who have seen their parents get divorced and they have committed, I'm not getting married because of what I saw my parents go through. So we have an attack on a family unit now.
A dying sanctuary.
It's a dying, and if you think about creation and you think about where we started, regardless of whatever your religious beliefs are, a family unit is, we're meant to be together. We're here to create. We're here
all that
to
matters at
relate.
the end of the day.
At the end of the day,
I
it
veered
really
away
is
from that
all
concept
that
when I wasn't my
matters.
happiest. I want Jess to also introduce herself
Yes.
before we go too
Yes.
far.
Yeah.
Take the mic really quick, love.
My name is Jessica Maloney, and I am a licensed mental health counselor. I'm also a business coach, motivational speaker, and author. I focus primarily on female empowerment in all of my ventures when it comes to business coaching. We really focus on strategy and mindset related to female entrepreneurs. And in my counseling business, focus on overcoming a lot of the anxiety and the stressors and the mood management in order to be able to get through life's challenges.
Would you like to share the name of your an amazing group of women?
Yes, I am the founder of Boss Babe Soup Brunch.
I love it. I love it.
me too.
I love that. Me and Jess found each other pretty much at the conception of Boss Babe Soup Brunch
pretty much
2 years
right
ago.
at the beginning. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You were like, let's do something. I was like, okay. What do you want to do?
Let's brunch.
I hate failure to launch, not to go too far off into the other ends of things, but I was just like, I'm just constantly spitting things off. Like, she's like, I'm not that established. I'm like, I don't care. Let's do something. And she's really grown a beautiful, amazing group of women who she inspires every day. And I love that.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm so glad you're a part of it. And it's so cool to be able to do it in so many different ways.
Yeah.
Right. That was the whole reason I started Boss Babe Soup Brunch, because of my story and going through my toxic relationship, being able to find myself and set myself free. And then I wanted to coach other women. So I started out as a women's empowerment coach. And then through my business ventures from prior to that, even starting from like 2015 up until that point, I was like, I think I love the mindset of a female entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs, they think differently. They want growth. They're not comfortable in stagnation.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and I think a lot of women are starting to feel that, not just entrepreneurs, but this whole journey that we're talking about today was the start of where I'm at today. So I think it's so cool how it all just really comes full circle, because we've all been through some stuff.
Oh God.
Not me. No, my life was perfect. Everything was just hunky dory.
Oh my God, tell me how. How did you do that?
Everything just fell into place perfectly.
Did your divorce spark your journey as a post-divorce? Would you consider yourself like a life coach? Like, what do you consider your title?
It's so interesting when you say that, because technically, I mean, I would consider myself I don't know if I would say post-divorce coach, but technically I would say coach, divorce coach. Funny enough is a lot of the work I do with women, even though what brings us together is the event of the divorce, a lot of the work that I do with the women has really nothing to do with the divorce. It's about bringing power and I wouldn't even say control. It's about bringing power command and focused intention back to their life.
I think a lot of women go into marriage not even knowing who they were, right?
Yeah,
like
you lose yourself along the way. So going back to that, like I kind of consider myself a soul activator. That is my role. Like even in my psychotherapy practice, when I was doing psychotherapy years ago, because I don't do the one-to-ones anymore, it's more of a one-to-group model. Because quantum physics and science-wise, for me and my work, we need that group, kind of connection.
So you're an advocate for multiple people, not one-on-ones.
Yeah, well, I'm not both. I think it's both. I think it depends where you are on your journey. So again, going back to me particularly, I started working with women in the beginning who were just finding out that they were getting divorced, or they found out that there was a betrayal, or they found out there was something. And that is really therapy. They need therapy at that time because they don't know where they're going. They don't know if their life is up, if it's down.
Most of these women didn't feel in control. They were the ones that were being told that their partner didn't want the marriage anymore.
It's both ways. I mean, it's just both. It just depends. It's just like a trauma hits the family unit and they're all over. So coaching really isn't appropriate for them because they're in trauma. They're right there in that fight or flight mode. They don't know what's going on. So what I did is I started realizing that again, in that practice, when a woman would come to me, I would give her a 12-week time point. And I would say, in 12 weeks, we're going to turn your life around. Believe it or not. Doesn't mean that life is going to be perfect.
I love a set number. Like in 12 weeks, I'm really going to feel better and I'm not going to be on a roller coaster anymore. This is great.
Doesn't mean it's perfect. Doesn't mean that the divorce is over.
As long as they put the work in, as long as they're there for it.
Yes, and that's what happened. So I started really working with them on this 12-week time point, and you'd be amazed of what a woman could do in 12 weeks.
It's funny. I just bought a book about opening your creativity in 12 weeks. It's literally, because I'm always pushing myself. Like I want to be more creative. I'm a photographer, but I'm still pushing myself to tap into literally other parts of my brain. But that 12-week mark seems to be very significant in making strides in your life. Everything seems to be correlated. I know, Jess, you're always working with like these beautiful programs where you are holding women accountable to holding themselves accountable.
Yeah. Well, there's beauty in structure, I think, because otherwise with an open-ended type of thing where like maybe one day it doesn't feel like you're getting anywhere. But if you can track your progress, it helps fuel your success.
I love that.
Right. So the more you realize like, okay, this is where I'm at, then I move on to this, then I move on to this, or this is the milestone. Right. So when you're tracking yourself or you're monitoring yourself, you're better able to see like, okay, like I've made progress. Like if you go to the gym, right? And you're like, I want to lose, 20 pounds. And you're going to the gym, and like, I haven't lost any weight. I quit. This sucks. Right. But if you're like, okay, my goal is to show up 3 times a week. Okay, my goal is to, do at least 30 minutes a day. So if you're monitoring that, like, okay, check mark, right?
You're
week
following.
2 is now this. Now I'm going 4 days a week for 30 minutes a day. Now, and then you expand from there.
I love that.
Being able to track that is a huge part of goal achievement. So if we can recognize what I can do, and when you're pushed to do something, like whether it was your choice or somebody else's, like it helps fuel you. So if we can turn all that energy into fuel, imagine what you could do with all this stuff like rolling through your body right now.
Right. Yeah. Let's talk about like how much divorce is fear-based, right? So if we could turn, because I know for me, I'm okay being, personal and putting myself out there. I was in my marriage for 20 years and I would say, half of it, I was petrified to leave. I knew halfway through it was not for me.
I knew going down the aisle.
My family told me,
like a little bit. Maybe I should rethink.
When family's telling you, "Are you sure that's your person a week before?" And I'm like, "It's all paid for. Why are you telling me this now?" And it's okay. There was still love and whatever, and I wouldn't trade it. But I was very fear-based. So I think if we could take anything from today or this podcast or this journey is changing that fear into empowerment, which is what the three of us are all, you can.
Well, think about society as a whole, right? Sure. And I like to look at it as not wrong or right, bad or good. I like to look at it as the 30,000 foot view and, okay, what serves us and what doesn't, right? Because we can't be a bull in a china closet and there's a lot of things that we're going to want to go out there and change, but it's looking at what is. And we're indoctrinated into a society of order. And you have to follow the rules. It starts off.
I hate rules.
At school. Me too, right? It starts off going
ODD
to school.
Bad.
You are taught.
True. Rules are for corny people.
I know. It's true. I'm the same way. That's probably why.
Oh, I mean, since I'm a little girl, you tell me to do it. It's literally, I have ODD. I just was never diagnosed. Like I'm doing opposite because you're telling me. And I know like
Oh my God, that reminds me of a story. So when I was younger, my dad, I was like, I don't know, 4, maybe 3 or 4. I was in diapers. So 3, 4, something like that. So you were also
born this way.
Like, yeah, totally. Okay. So I remember my dad saying to me, hey, Donna, because I was touching something and I touched it and he goes, don't touch it again. Or I'm going to have to spank you. And I looked at him and I went, boop. And I kept doing, and finally my dad's like, I got to stop doing this. Like, and
it's
so,
not.
You know,
like
what's funny? I'm the opposite.
You are.
So I was a rule follower. You know, if someone told me not to do something, I would listen. I'd be afraid that if I did it, I would get in trouble or like I would get caught.
Yeah.
Right. So like my fear was the same at the end, you know, like I'm afraid to leave. But I think I might have shared this with you once before. I think for a lot of us or a lot of women or individuals that find themselves in this situation, it's not that you're grieving the person, it's that you're grieving the life you thought you were supposed to have.
Yes. And people the past of where you invested.
You're afraid to burn it all down because you're like, I don't have another vision for my life.
Let's just
this was supposed to be it.
My decision to get married was not based upon, I was young. I mean, and it's funny to see how everyone's marriages form off of different circumstances. I got pregnant with my son at a young age, a year after I met my soon-to-be ex-husband. And I was like, all right, well, you know, we're going to have a child together. And I just wanted to paint the picture. You know, I didn't realize the importance of like choosing a partner. I didn't even know who I was, you know, and I know that there's somebody out there listening to me who's like, oh, that's my story, because everybody's story is different. And you feel alone because you're like, well, I don't even think anybody could even relate to what I have to say right now. You know, like, I wasn't making a choice as an adult even. I was very young, you know, so I just kept painting a picture with the person I was with. And, you know, it's not really his fault either. And, you know, and I wish him well. And, you know, I mean, we could really go on about. I mean,
to your point, because you said something about, you know, do I really want to burn it all down? Because it's the thing. It's not the denial of the reality. It's the acceptance of what is, not what you want it to be. Right. Because at the point where you're saying, you know, I don't want to burn it all down. Newsflash, it already was burnt.
It was never done.
It's charred, but it's just not fallen down yet.
Right. Like everything is charred. It's already done.
It's got holes in it, honey.
Or if I think about what built means, it was the things. It was never a relationship. We never chose each other off of who we were. We chose each other off of circumstance, and then we bought the house and we had the wedding. And it all fit the picture, but it was never with the right person.
But how much deeper does that go, right?
Yeah.
Like who
so
were
deep, girl.
you?
So
and like,
deep.
This stuff is not being taught.
We did not evolve together. And that's why, no.
But like, it's not even being taught like to figure out who you are. It's just like figure out what you want to do.
Right. Well, and also just to add that in there, speaking of, you know, not being taught to girls, I don't think it's even being taught, let alone younger women, but women in their 40s, 50s,
which is why I'm
60s,
so excited.
Right?
We're sitting here talking about it.
But it's also teaching women. I think the most crucial things that I find in women empowerment and finding their soul again and activating it and really getting a hold of their life is also understanding emotional response versus emotional reaction.
Oh God.
And not letting those emotions be the one that's making your decisions, because women inherently, I think what makes us so beautiful could also be our worst enemy. The beautiful part about being a woman with emotions is that that's what brings family together. It's what brings family home. It's what I think if we didn't have emotion and we didn't have those feelings, we'd have like rabid kids running around. If anything, right? Like it would be weird. But at the same time, when we're using those emotions to dictate, you know, our thoughts that we're speaking or what we're thinking, it's false information.
Right. Yeah. Feelings are not facts.
Feelings are not facts, right? And so what's happening is you're using these, you know, young women especially are using their emotions, and they're using this clouded judgment that is only biting them in the ass.
I call it emotional control. As a 43-year-old woman who, and we'll talk about this on another episode, I have since found another very healthy relationship. I almost scare myself. I'm like, Kelly, you better be emotionally in control right now. You know what, you know, emotional control. I say it all the time, you know, checking myself, taking a deep breath, like, but these are all things I was never held accountable for in an unhealthy relationship, you know? So, you know, I'm now, so there's so many
And I
pieces.
wonder though, and you guys tell me too, because I'm curious on your side.
Sure.
If we didn't have the emotional control set point at a certain point, right? And I'm not saying everyone, because you may have had emotional control. Maybe you did. But did you attract a person who wasn't emotionally availed? Who didn't have,
emotionally dead? Yeah. There's no lights on upstairs. Like,
so it's interesting, right? It's the piece of us that we think, because we think we're attracting with our mind and our brain. We think because we have a level of intelligence and we have integrity and character, we're the ones that are, but we're not attracting by the 5% of our brain, we're attracting by the 95% of our subconscious. So when we're not in that emotional state and we haven't yet learned to harbor those emotions, not even harbor them, use them, right?
Is this where your somatic healing, I'm saying it correctly, comes in?
There's definitely somatic healing here. Yeah, okay. For sure.
That's for beautiful.
Sure.
But I think it's also part of that identity evolution. Like I was the girl that wanted to save the boys, you know, like I was like, I could save him.
Oh my gosh.
Him.
I think I could attest to that. Maybe I'll be the one to change him.
Yeah.
I was just happy that my ex-husband was always down to do anything that I wanted to do. Like, okay, you want to plan for us. You want to make sure this is done. You. And then I fell so far into my masculine energy and I didn't even realize it until social media evolved throughout my relationship. And I'm like, you see these reels and you're like, that's me. I'm in masculine energy and I'm getting blamed for it all the time.
You know what I learned?
Not my fault.
Big, huge lesson. Yeah. And this is no shade to guys because I suggest they have their own way of communicating. Is when a guy shows you his behavior and he shows you who he is, believe him.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. Hands down. Believe him. It is what it is. They're not complicated creatures. Sorry back there for our, our guy friend there. But they're not complicated creatures. So it's like if something that's really important to you is that this person, say, is punctual and that he's loyal to his word, and then you're dating someone who happens to come late to every date or isn't loyal to his word, he says, believe that. Don't give any more chances.
People who are late. I'm always late.
Like, know it.
Louder than words.
Yeah,
100%. There is also a phenomenon. Listen, my ex-husband, soon to be ex-husband as of next week, he had a officially good at the end of this month. He had a window of opportunity, you know, like I was not blame based, you know, the fall of, you know, our family unit was not all his fault. And I was okay admitting that. But the difference was I listed everything that I knew I did wrong, where I fell short, where I needed to work on, where I needed to apologize. Like I couldn't have said those things more. But when you're in a relationship with somebody who will just keep, you're right. It was all you. It was all. And, you know, whereas now I'm dating somebody who is also post-divorce or, you know, same place as I am. He is such a green flag to the capacity that he knows exactly how he messed up. He has done the work to many capacities, many levels. So, you know, if anybody else is also listening to this, they're not all the same. And there are some men out there who are evolving and who are learning from the things that they lost and where they know they messed up. And I think that's a beautiful thing. They're out there. They do exist. Yeah. If anyone needs hope.
Well, I think anybody can really take the bull by the horns and just say, like, I want to be different. I want to choose to do things differently. I don't want to have this same experience, you know, because nobody wants to be unhappy. Nobody wants to be in fight or flight. Nobody wants to be arguing with people all the time. Nobody wants to be like worried about what's going to happen next all the time. Like that's not a comfortable place to live and exist. So I think regardless of who you are in the situation, it's like, who do you want to be and how do you want to experience your life? And yes, going back to the emotional resilience part of it, like you're in control of how you choose to respond to these things. You're allowed to feel whatever you want to feel. Like I'll tell my clients, like, you can go ahead and feel whatever you want to feel. You want to be pissed? You want to cry? You want to be upset? You need to have your feelings? Go ahead. But then you pick yourself up and you're like, okay, what am I going to do about this?
It's a habit like everything else.
I give a 48-hour pity party permission slip.
That's a long time. Good for you.
I say within 48 hours, do what you need to do. At the most.
I usually do 45 minutes as my cap. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, at the most.
I like that.
You know, less.
Sometimes
but
it's like a day.
Sometimes you need a day. But at the most 40, at that point, if you're still in it, it doesn't matter. You're going to get up. You're going to get dressed. You're going to put your makeup on. You're going to start your day. That's it. Like
you have to know like what to tap into. Right? Like that, I think is hard, right? Because what are you going to do with all those feelings? Like you can cry them out. But then how do you make yourself feel better?
Yeah.
How are you evolving, rising above?
You don't. Well, sometimes I don't think you have to make yourself feel better. I think that's the trick is teaching women to get comfortable with shitty emotions and not making them mean anything. Right. Because emotions are there. It's not the emotion that causes you distress. It's your thoughts about the emotion that causes you distress. So
I think creating your boundaries and having a vision for your life, you know, like I know, like I'm creating boundaries. I never really had that in a crappy marriage that I had prior to this. Like, you know, I did it.
No, it's so true. And I'm just laughing only because I'm giggling because I have recoined boundaries for me personally into the word standard.
Yes.
Because I'm setting a new standard in my life. And my standard is that I am not going to judge someone. I'm not going to assume something. I'm going to, and I have a certain I have a certain sort of set point of here are the people I want to be, like you said, who do I want to be spending my life with? And this is the standard I'm upholding to myself. And this is the standard I'm upholding to anyone who's going to come on my bus.
Yeah.
So I'm not there judging or looking, are you doing it or you're not doing it? Like you said, actions speak louder than words.
Right.
Can't hear what you're saying because your actions speak so loudly.
Right.
So I'm not so interested in what you're saying. I'm interested in what you're
how you're following
And
through.
standards to me is more loving. And then boundaries. I feel like boundaries is a great word. But I also feel like it's been overused so much because it's like the fence that keeps things out.
Okay.
But how do we let things in? So it's
a tango.
Yeah.
It's a tango. It's a
tango.
dance. I feel, all right. So I was saying, I don't know if we were recording yet, but there's these, are we dating the same guy sites on Long Island and like these mom groups. It's crazy out there. And
it's like the prom dress with young girls. Like, you know when they go on the site and they're like, are you wearing this prom dress? Do you have this prom dress?
What
are we
dating this guy? Initials, what kind of cards he drives?
Do they put pictures up and everything?
If you ever need to know anything, these girls will
figure
it out.
I've caught one of my friends.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just waiting for my ex-husband to pop up on it.
I seriously love the resourcefulness of women.
Yeah.
We're fucking amazing.
Yeah,
right? Imagine what the things we could do when we come together.
A girl's being a girl's girl, but not everybody is a girl's girl, you know?
Of course.
I know. Yeah. But I think that people don't know how to play that line evenly or balanced. I feel like a lot of women want to be open and, vulnerable. Vulnerability was a really big thing for me.
But
they're scared of being hurt.
Well, that's it. So this is when I say to be okay with the emotion doesn't mean like one day, okay, I'm going to be okay with these emotions and everything's great.
Through it. Talk us through it.
Everything is great. No, it takes time. You have to develop. It's like a muscle.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I find with women, and I would love to hear from the two of you and the women that I work with, what keeps them blocked? Because I have something that I call the 1% or the 1 degree rule. Have you guys ever heard of the 1 degree rule?
No, tell me.
Okay. So the 1 degree rule is this. The difference between water that boils and water that is not boiling is only 1 degree.
Okay.
So many women, especially like entrepreneurial women, will come to the table. They've been in therapy. They've done the work. They've done every behavioral test that you could possibly think of, right? So they're not coming to the table without wisdom, right? They're coming to the table with wisdom.
Sure.
But the one thing that keeps them stuck is they're afraid, going back to the word fear, to fully feel and fully address and fully come to the realization of the emotions that they're feeling. So they're burying it away. They're burying it away because if they would really address the emotion, it would take them down.
And getting defensive.
They would feel sad. They would maybe cry. They would feel like shit. No one wants to feel like shit, right? So a human brain is always going to move towards pleasure and will always move away from pain.
Well, for me, I know.
Always.
Right. Like, I went into counseling, I've been in and out of counseling my whole life. Let's be real for one thing or another. I come from divorced parents. We could talk about that a whole nother day, a whole nother topic. But I found myself going from 0 to 100 in defense mode, like if I felt like, too vulnerable and felt like, my feelings were on the line and I could potentially be hurt, I'm that girl that's going to go right into, I don't need you anyway. I'm fine just by myself. It's all, and then I'm like, and then my best friend looked at me and she said, you better not self-sabotage this. And I'm like, shit, she's right. And then I realized I needed a little fine tuning, but I think that's what defines the people. I look at our parents' generation, and I don't know if it was more common practice then, but even my dad, my parents got divorced. My dad was heartbroken. He never really dated seriously again after that. I think there's a fine line between people who allow what's happening right now to essentially ruin them the rest of their lives, or grow and allow the good things and believe good things are coming to you,
Well, yeah, I think it's choice. It's a decision.
I want to choose to be happy again and believe that it can happen and it will happen and that it's safe.
And it's your choice and your purpose to then pursue that, right? A lot of people decide they want something or they think they've decided they want something, but then they're like, where is it?
Right. They're
waiting for it. Like, I want to be happy.
You have to become it for yourself to attract it.
Right. But you have to seek it. Yep. You have to choose to do the things that create happiness. You have to choose to surround yourself with the people that create happiness. You have to choose to do the things that are probably uncomfortable for you to potentially have that opportunity. But most people don't open their own doors of opportunity. So therefore, they're not putting themselves into a place where they can receive other things to happen to them.
I like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like they think that everything bad that's happened to them, it's happened to them, right? But it's happened for you, right? That was something Les Brown told me.
That.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen
for
to you. It happens for you.
I love that.
Right. So this opens a door. Like you have a choice now. Like
Yeah.
you no longer have this life that you've dreamed of your whole life,
Mm.
but you have a door of opportunity to create something that you
Even bigger and better than it, possibly.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And you've got to be willing.
And possibility is so open
Life
to
is
you.
so short.
And this goes to
but
what
it's so
like,
big too.
it is. Like if you could look at it as, is everything going wrong or is everything going right? Because either way it is, it's your perception.
Perspective.
It's all perception. It's what but going back to like how life could be is being willing to, you've got to, people say like skeletons in the closet.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily say skeletons in the closet. I just look at
Experience.
the moment we stop resisting, because whatever you resist persists, right? The moment we stop resisting what it is that we're trying not to feel, because anytime we're trying not to do something, we are wasting energy.
You're also programming yourself
That's
to think
beautiful.
about it.
Again,
I'm
you're creating more.
so guilty of that. I'm like, why do I keep going back to this? Why do I keep going back to this?
You're
Kelly,
trying not
stop
to.
it. It's like I'm almost not happy if I'm not looking for something. I'm a generally
who
happy
wrote
person.
a book I think would be a great book for you to read
I'm listening.
is Michael Singer, The
Okay.
Untethered Soul.
Okay.
And if you haven't
Beautiful.
read Michael Singer, The Untethered Soul, because he really
I'll order
teaches
it
you,
after this.
it's fabulous.
Okay.
It's absolutely fabulous because it really teaches you how to take the emotion and remove that emotional charge
Okay.
and look for the wisdom in it, because that's how you transmute,
Okay.
right? So a wound is going to have a charge and it's going to look for like energy to bring in.
Okay.
Right. So that like energy. And if we could
wow.
transmit the energy. So again, if you think about excitement and anxiety, they're on the same sort of spectrum. So
Sure.
you could either choose, am I going to be excited about something or am I going to be anxious about something?
Mm.
So when you could transmute, when you could heal that part and just see it for what it is, not what
Wow.
you want it to be, not what you thought it would be, not what you had hoped it to be. When
What
you just
is it?
see it for what it is,
Yeah.
it loses power over you. It literally
Yeah.
becomes neutral and then it flows away and you never have to deal with it again.
Yes,
I like
neutralizing
that.
the thing.
Because otherwise you're constantly back, because the thought comes, you don't want to think it, you have to give energy to it. So you put it away in your subconscious. And on your mind, you're thinking about other things, but your subconscious still has all its windows open and it's searching for information, right? So
Yeah.
if you're like, oh, I'm going to get hurt again. No, I won't get hurt again. I'm not going to attract another narcissist. I'm going to attract this perfect person. Okay, great. I'm going to attract the perfect person. But underneath, your subconscious is like, let me find someone who can emotionally abandon me. Let me find someone.
It's like a
Let me
mental
find someone.
tune-up. It's a
Yeah.
mental tune-up.
It is,
But it's also like, I
it's
think,
all-
like a lot of my clients have had trouble going into the positive from the negative.
Okay.
So we do talk about like neutralizing things, right?
Yes.
It's not that I'm not going to get hurt again. It's that I'm not being hurt right now. And I want to be open to the possibility of finding love.
Believe
Yes.
that all good things
Yes.
you are capable and possible, and they
Right,
do
but
fit
in
into
this
your life.
moment, I
Right.
can't predict the future. So
Right.
if I can go in with an open mind and an
Yes.
open heart
Yes.
and
And
like
no.
be able to see that, like,
Yeah.
I know what to look out for now, right? Like we kind of
Mhm.
prepare ourselves for these
Right.
things.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, like I'm not going to put myself in a situation like this
Right.
again, but right now I'm not being hurt.
And you know what just to add on to that, because
Yeah,
this is like
go.
so exciting for me right
Yeah.
now,
I love it.
what we're doing is we're bringing the power back to the woman. Okay.
Yes,
Because what we're
to
saying is
ourselves.
like,
Right.
even if we think about, okay, there's certain signs of there's certain things that we understand, like maybe what love bombing is that we didn't know before.
Mhm.
Maybe gaslighting and things we didn't know before. So there's going to be certain data
Yeah.
and drama that we
Right.
understand that's going to give us a good point.
Mm.
But what I always love to say, and again, this is bringing the power back to the woman, you do not have to fear, you do not have to worry about what is coming to you or at you, because inside of yourself, you've developed your emotional regulation. You've developed a rock solid relationship with God, source, universe, whatever that is. You've developed a really good relationship in the love in yourself.
Within yourself.
Within yourself.
Which
So you
goes
don't have
back
to
to
worry
the
about
topic
if
of
someone
not-
else is telling
Right.
the truth or not, because you are.
Right.
And you're operating in integrity. You're operating in truth. You're operating in love. And if they have false comings, your energy and their energy simply cannot mix. His will show in
Right.
days or weeks.
Right.
So this is not like when you were a little girl and you enter into this relationship and you're in this marriage 30 years.
Yeah.
This is where you can't, when you're dating someone, this is not a relationship.
Right.
It's dating.
Right.
Until
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
decide at a certain point that you're committed.
110%.
So many women go on this
Yes.
first date. Oh, I'm in a no, you're not. You're not in a
Oh,
relationship.
wow,
I know.
You're
Until you
dating.
have
But
that
there's
conversation.
so many rules on that now. Like
I
that's
know.
another topic of conversation.
Oh my
I
God,
have
we could go
clients
like
that are
crazy. I know.
Well, we're just
Or
we're
integrity.
talking.
Nobody has
I was like, what do you mean
integrity.
You're talking. You're dating.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
She goes, but we're not really in a relationship. I was like, but you're dating.
Dating,
Like
right.
you're
Yeah.
going on dates. That's what dating is.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And you're
Yes.
not seeing other people. Like you're in
Well,
a relationship.
Right.
Like what
If
do you mean?
decide- yeah.
Right.
True.
You're like, the goal of that is to build something, build each other, build, but no, people, we're living in a very, 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 very like just different world, which goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning about how it's sad that marriage is not being viewed as a sacred platform for families, for the world. I remember hearing somebody say that marriage was just outdated and it was literally intended for when people used to farm together and families would need their children to get married to, and like some people have looked at marriage that, far back now and devalued it that much. And I didn't place much value in the sanctuary of marriage, when I was in it and I was unhappy. But the beautiful part is now I get it. But I feel like, people haven't defined what relationships mean to them. I think relationships are ego boosts for a lot of people out there right now. The art of being wanted by somebody else, it's all games, so I think everybody needs to take a step back, take a deep breath and really assess if a relationship is even right for them right now before they start jumping into them. I mean, we could really go on about these things for like
there's
days.
Phases if you think about it too, right? So for the women I work with, a lot of the women are coming to me in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. Actually, one of my clients literally just found love again.
Wow.
70, but she's been working with me for a while, right?
I love
this.
But
she just got married in New Hampshire in the middle of nowhere. And because it's not that I don't believe in dating apps, but I also believe organically you really can call in the person. Dating apps are fine and great, but organically you can. Anyway, she was 70 and she celebrated. So what I love to say is people ask me about going back. Are you a divorce coach? And I really want to I'm more of like a marriage coach or a relationship coach.
An empowerment coach.
Because I believe in the sanctity of marriage. However, when women are at their 60s and 70s, some of them, my clients, they don't want to be married. They want to be in a committed, beautiful partnership.
Yes.
So I think we have to look at the constructs of different life cycles of where we are as women and the sanctity of what that relationship is, albeit being a marriage or in a committed partnership.
Right.
And then being able for that woman to unapologetically be herself.
Beautiful.
And embrace what works for her.
Which goes back to the whole, my whole topic. We had like a little rundown of like which direction we were heading out of the gate. And for me, I'm a true firm believer in investing some time in yourself, in between, what you're choosing to leave behind and what you hope for.
You're in the field. And not the field dating.
Right.
I'm calling like in the wilderness. Like you're
travel
on your own.
Take a sketchbook to the woods if you're not in a position to
Self-partnering.
travel. Go on a solo
self-love.
date by yourself.
Those
it was
are
the first time I ever did.
Yes. When I look
first
back,
time I ever did
I didn't
it my
realize
entire
how
life.
valuable they were.
I loved it.
It was that time.
Yeah.
Well, people, I think, put a lot of value into somebody else loving them.
Yes.
And they don't
you gotta love yourself.
recognize that there is a concept of self-love. They all think it's just ego driven. And
I think
it's not. Like self-love is very different than like being like cocky or overly confident. It's like loving yourself, like giving yourself the things that you need so that you're not dependent on somebody else for it.
If you don't believe it, nobody will. And I think it's important even when you are in a relationship, right?
What is self-love? If I were to, because I get this question and I have my answer, but I would like to hear from the, like, if someone were to say, what is self-love? What would you say?
Respecting myself, respecting what I know that I deserve. And when I say what I deserve what I give, like I hold the same standard for myself as to what I give to other people. And that's, selflessness. I'm a big, but with boundaries, it's all balanced like anything else. So I want to receive what I give in this life. That's what self-love is for me.
How about you?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's so many things, but part of it is being able to look in the mirror and despite everything that you might see and your flaws and things, it's learning to be able to look at yourself and say, hey, like, you're good.
Yeah.
Like,
proud of you.
You're a good person.
You. Like, I got you. I'm going to take care of you. Like,
you're safe.
I love you.
Yeah.
You're safe. Yeah. And it's just being able to like be with yourself. Most people can't be with themselves.
And this goes back to the thought process of why it's so good to get rid of those thoughts. Because when you could be with yourself, and I think that is the prize.
I prefer it.
When you
like,
can
I'm a
be
lone
with
ranger
yourself.
now.
People are like, you want to go shopping together? I'm like, no, I want to be in my own head at Target and be left alone. I don't want to try on things in the dressing room with you.
That's the prize. Right?
I always found that concept weird.
I think that's the biggest prize that people aren't looking at. It's having a relationship and being married to someone, should that be what you're choosing, of course, is a wonderful thing to share life with, right? Because we don't want to go through this life alone. But that far beyond that, I think the bigger prize is coming home to yourself and being able to sit in a room quietly.
Yes.
And peacefully. Yeah. Without the ruminating thoughts coming in, without, the thoughts coming in telling you, just peace, just pure peace. millions of women on the globe, if not billions of women, will go to their graves never feeling true peace. And my mission is to make sure that everyone does.
That's
because that's the gift, right? The gift is peace.
And you might not have it all the time, and that's okay. But knowing
most
that you
of the
can
time
create it.
I like it.
You know, like if things feel chaotic, like you know what you need to do to help yourself.
How to get back to that place when things are off too, far off in left field. I love that.
And to even speak about what we were saying before, like I love the idea of like tapping into purpose. Like once you're able to kind of like feel yourself and like, get through those emotions, feel your feels, be with yourself.
Yeah.
I need to plug in. Like, I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? Because I know that doing something for myself, that's how I create all the things that I want. So I find happiness, it's how I find peace, it's how I find more strength, confidence, resilience.
Purpose on so many levels. Purpose as for yourself, purpose as a mom, purpose as a friend, purpose as a business owner,
and
so there's
so many ways to get it. Like I love going to the gym.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll take my kids out and we'll do something.
Yeah, I like it.
Sometimes I'll tap into my mentorship or I'll like facilitate, I'll create a new business strategy or a new framework. Like I love that.
This for me is it right here. Yeah.
Yeah. So having that thing for yourself, and you might have to try some things in order to see if you like them.
And don't feel silly doing it. Donna, we're going to end this. I want you to just tell us a little bit more about the class that you're hosting on the 30th.
I would love for you guys to join me or let any woman know on September 30th. It is 6:30, I believe we start. And the class is called How to Find Love Again After Divorce. And it's about 2 to 3 hours.
Okay.
And truly, it's me giving you my best guidance of what it is that you need to know of how to reclaim your power, recover your heart, and really be ready to open up your heart to calling in the love that you want.
So she's not giving you
for you to come join me.
Skills for the type of guy to go search in the search bar tool. She's teaching you how to love yourself. Yes. You heard it here first, people. Yes. Thank you for joining us on episode number 2 of Split Happens with myself,
Donna Ray,
and Jessica Maloney.
Have a good one, guys. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.